Thank you all for being here. We just really wanted to gather everybody together to let everybody know about the progress we're making on a plastic bag ban here in the state of Connecticut, which has been a long time coming. We're incredibly excited about it, both the Environment Committee as well as many others across the legislature. We have representatives here today from both the Senate and the House, both on the Environmental Committee and not on the Environmental Committee, as well as advocates, real environmental champions like Citizens Campaign for the Environment, as well as the Connecticut League of Conservation Voters. We have been working in concert with BYO Connecticut, who unfortunately could not be here today. But we're just thrilled because we think we've got a really great, solid bill that will hopefully be introduced in the Senate this week and then into the House next week and ultimately on for the governor's signature. What the bill does, it enacts a ban by July 1st of 2021, allowing businesses to flex and get ready for a hard ban again in July of 2021. It also defines the type of paper bags that these businesses can be using, which would be 40% recycled content and 100% recyclable paper bags. It also, and this is very important, does not preempt municipalities. So any municipality that has a stricter ban in place, and we know that there are several of them, and we also know that many municipalities are working very hard to get bans in place within the coming months, they would not be preempted by this state law so long as their laws are at least as restrictive as is set forth in Senate Bill 1003. So I've got a couple of folks here that are wanting to speak and have been champions of this matter, and I suspect will be going forward, and then we'll take a little bit of time for questions. So Senator Kushner, who is Vice Chair of the Environment Committee, will be first up.
Thank you, Senator Cohn, and just let me say that it's such a privilege to serve as Vice Chair on the Environment Committee, and particularly with the great strong advocates that we have and proponents in our House chairs as well, both Representative D'Amico and also Representative Gresco. I've learned so much working with them, and this is a really big opportunity to move our state forward when it comes to recognizing climate change, recognizing the importance of protecting our environment. And so, you know, I believe that passing this bill in the Senate and then it will make its way to the House, we will take this very big step forward. So I encourage all of you to keep up the good fight and keep the pressure on all of us in the Senate and the House to make sure that we get this done this session soon.
Thank you, Senator Kushner. And Senator Haskell is here with us, and he has championed and worked very closely with champions of a bag ban in his district. So would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much to both Senator Cohn and also Representative D'Amico. It's been an incredible honor to serve on the Environment Committee. You know, this is a major reason I believe that my constituents sent me to Hartford. 10 years ago, my hometown of Westport became the first municipality in Connecticut to ban plastic bags. Representative Steinberg, who also represents Westport, was actually on the RTM and cast that historic vote. Now, when you stand outside of supermarkets in Westport, as you often do when you're running for office, you notice that consumer behavior has changed over the last decade. That smart public policy that incentivizes folks to begin to use reusable bags will actually succeed. We don't see plastic bags. We don't see very high usage of paper bags in Westport anymore. It's time to scale that up to the state level. So many municipalities have followed Westport's lead, from Weston, Connecticut to New Canaan, Connecticut. Advocates in Reading and Wilton are working hard to bring a plastic bag to their town, but we shouldn't have a piecemeal approach. That's even what the retailers have told us. They don't want to abide by individual regulations in 169 towns. We need one rule across the state of Connecticut, and that rule has to be banning this very dangerous substance that every day endangers wildlife in the Long Island Sound and makes our environment less clean, less healthy, makes Connecticut a less appealing place to live. So thank you so much to the leadership of this committee for their hard work on this bill. I can't wait to vote for it in the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Haskell. And I along those lines, I was counting on my drive up this morning how many plastic bags I saw, and I didn't suspect that I'd see many because I take a well-traveled highway, and I saw 9 plastic bags just on the side of the road, up in trees. I saw 3 hanging from trees along my route, granted 45 minutes to an hour of a drive, but really disturbing. So we're seeing this litter everywhere, and we can do something about it. And really, Connecticut can be at the forefront of this. So many municipalities, as Senator Haskell said, have already implemented a ban, and it's high time that the state takes charge and allows for them to be for there to be a statewide ban. So, Senator Bergstein, would you like to say a few words for us?
Thank you so much. And I just want to say a few words on behalf of BYOCT. The women who started that organization are in Greenwich, and they were inspired when they saw a film called Bagot at the Audubon in Greenwich. Now, Westport had already passed its ban, but it took 10 years for the second town, which was Greenwich in the state, to pass its ban. And they organized a grassroots movement called BYO Greenwich at first. Once they passed their ban in March 2018, which was not easy, I was there that night when the RTM voted on it, and they were inclined to not vote on it until a group of high school students, the entire environmental club, showed up with signs and with stories about the necessity of dealing with this problem now and not letting it be kicked down the road for future generations. And that's how the grassroots movement really began. And from that point on, other towns contacted BYO Greenwich. They formed BYOCT, which is now a statewide movement. It includes 16 towns and growing every day. Towns across the state are passing their own legislation. Just last night, Fairfield passed their ban. And this is truly a testament to the power of grassroots advocacy, because when people identify a problem and identify a solution and work like hell to make it happen, change happens. So I want to thank all the advocates. BYO Madison is here, and all the ones who couldn't be here because they're out working to solve this problem. This is what we need. We need your voices. We need the power of your advocacy. These are nonpartisan issues, and you are making a big difference. So thank you to the advocates.
Thank you, Senator Bergstein. And she had a good point in terms of it being a bipartisan issue. We do have support on both sides of the aisle and are excited to see this ban come to fruition. I also need to give a shout out to BYO Madison, part of my district, along with BYO Guilford and BYO Brantford, who are actively working to implement a...
BYO Newtown is here too.
Oh, and BYO Newtown's here. Well, not in my district. Thrilling that BYO Newtown is here too. So, and Windham, great. Thank you so much for being here today. Another staunch advocate and environmental committee member is Representative Reyes, and I'd love for you to come say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It is my honor to be here with such distinguished folks from the environmental community. These are strong advocates, and I've learned from every single one of them. I'd like to thank the chairs, Cohen, Senator Cohen, Representative D'Amico, and thank everybody. Special thanks to all of the leaders that are here in front of us. Our urban and minority communities are consistently disproportionately affected by litter and recycling costs in this state. I have been very vocal this session in my strong support of ban on plastic bags, straws, and honored to be a vote for yes on the banning of single-use styrofoam in the House. This bill that's being proposed in the Senate with the 2-year sunset is, I think it's a good practical approach, which gives everybody plenty of notice, and I think it's a good first step. In my perfect world, it would be a little faster, but this is the way government works, and I think it's democracy at its truest form. But it's a fight that we're all doing against pollution and against, again, and my colleagues stated it better than I could, so for a cleaner, brighter, stronger Connecticut. And a critical component of this bill is the flexibility which we're allowing for the municipalities. I know that Waterbury is already proposing a ban on plastic bag of its own, and it's following the leadership of many towns and municipalities that already put these ordinances in place. So we have good, strong table setters here in the state of Connecticut, and as I said, I'm advocating for Waterbury to do the same thing, and we will all continue to work together and to preserve our communities, the beautiful states, the towns and cities we live in, and moving towards a greener and more renewable energy Connecticut. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Representative Reyes. Also, just want to make mention of the fact that BYO Connecticut has estimated that they have reduced plastic bag usage by 200 million bags. And with an estimated usage in Connecticut of 1 billion bags, that is not a small dent. It's a huge dent in this process. And so we really need to follow suit and enact a statewide ban. I'd love to have Representative Jonathan Steinberg come up and say a few words as well, another champion.
Well, I'm just here to say it's about time, Connecticut. As Senator Haskell mentioned, Westport's been doing this for almost 11 years now. And back in the beginning, everybody said, you're not going to be able to get people to move to reusable bags. You know, we're all addicted to the disposable society. You know, I trot this out like a shredded teddy bear, but this is the reusable bag I've been using for over 10 years. It says We Green Westport. And I will tell you initially, yeah, it takes a little bit to remember to take your reusable bag out of the car, but Westport's been doing it for over 10 years. You can change behaviors. We can change behaviors as a society. And that's really the bigger picture here. This is starting with plastic bags, but this is really about the excessive use of disposable plastics in a variety of contexts. I hope that we also pass a ban on plastic straws soon. The House has passed a ban on styrofoam use. It's really a much broader issue in terms of the pollution of our oceans in particular, but really just about everywhere. So, you know, anybody who doubts that Connecticut can do this, look at Westport as an example. Look at the 11, 12 other towns that have passed it since. This is going to happen, and this is the year to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Steinberg. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we have been working in collaboration with many of our environmental groups here in Connecticut, not only BYO Connecticut, but Connecticut League of Conservation Voters, as well as Citizens Campaign for the Environment. So I'd love to have Lou Birch come up and maybe wrap it up for us, and then we'll take a few questions.
Sure. Thank you again, Senator Cohen, and I wanted to take a moment to thank all of our legislative leaders that are here today, as well as the environmental groups. We can't do this work without you all. My name is Lou Rosado Birch. I'm the program director at Citizens Campaign for the Environment. There's a lot of important issues that are being taken up here at the Capitol today and over the next couple of days, but I'm encouraged by the fact that these legislators are here highlighting the fact that we have a plastic pollution crisis. It's choking our oceans, it's devastating our wildlife. It's also causing a huge problem for our municipal recyclers because these plastic bags are getting jammed up in their operations, causing them to shut down recycling facilities for up to 10 hours a week sometimes, hundreds of man hours a year. This is having a real cost on our taxpayers as well as our environment. And so CCE's been working on this issue for, again, over 10 years now. You know, the fact that we have the local BYO groups here to show their support, BYO Madison, BYO Newtown, BYO Wyndham, it demonstrates the fact that there is tremendous grassroots support for a ban on plastic bags. And in fact, I have here in my hands over 7,300 petition signatures in support of a ban on plastic bags. And so it's clear that the public has spoken on this issue. They're ready to take a step away from plastic bags, making these single-use checkout bags a thing of the past. It's time now for the state to step up and take the call and get this done this year. I think it's also important to say that it's critical that we not just try to replace one single-use throwaway bag with another. We're here today to promote more sustainable consumer behaviors, bringing your own bag. That's the name of the game, not replacing it with, you know, a paper bag or with so-called compostable plastic bags, which don't break down in a natural setting and that defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do here. So once again, we're encouraged by this. We've been at this for a long time, but we want to see this get done. And we think that the solution that Senator Cohen has proposed is a common sense, forward-thinking solution to ending that plastic pollution. So we thank you again for bringing us here together today, and we wish you the best of luck in the next few days in getting this done.
Thank you, Lou. And I'm going to ask Representative Michelle to just say a couple of words. I know everybody has to go move on to other press conferences and other events, but if Representative Michelle could just say a few brief words, and then we'll take questions.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you for coming to this presser. Just wanted to say in 2013 I started walking in a wetland to see the degree of pollution, and the entire soil of the wetland was actually broken down styrofoam that was dirty, and you couldn't tell it was styrofoam or polystyrene. So there's many forms of plastics to tackle down and to eliminate out of our waterways, and that's it. And thank you, Senator Cohen, for this bill, and everyone for participating. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Representative. So if anybody has any questions, we'll open it up for questions. Yes. Sure. So there's a $250 penalty, a violation penalty. That fee would then be split 50-50 between the municipalities and state agencies. So that's how it's laid out currently. Any other questions? No? Great. Well, thank you all for being here today.